News Director, and is also former Director of Policy and Planning at the Judiciary. Democrat Senator Pito Terlahi is also a first-term senator. He's a former police officer and the former mayor of Jonia. Democrat Senator Sabina Perez is a former educator, and she is serving her first term in office as well. Republican Senator Tello Taitagui, serving her second term as senator. She served as Deputy General Manager of Guam Visitors Bureau and as a director for the Bureau of Women's Affairs. Republican Senator Mary Torres is a three-term senator, and she is the daughter of Guam's first elected governor, Carlos Camacho. And finally, Republican Senator Jim Moylan, he's serving his first term in office, and he owned an insurance company and a healthcare general agency before foraying into politics. Right now, thank you all for joining us, and I'm going to ask our members if you would like to go into the chat and start asking your questions or typing your questions. And we have 4 hosts this morning. In room 1, we're going to have Vanessa Williams, former GWCC president and an attorney, and Amanda Guima will be her timekeeper. And candidates, you'll have about 30 to 40 seconds to answer your questions, maybe a minute in those. We have 2 rooms with 4 candidates and 2 rooms with 5 candidates. So please keep your answers succinct. In breakout room 2, President Holly Rustick is our host and Jen McFerrin is our timekeeper. In breakout room 3, Leon Guerrero, also a former GWCC president, is the host, and Dr. Annette Santos from UOG is her timekeeper. And in breakout room 4, Claire Delgado, one of our valuable government committee members, is the host, and she is with Jerry Leon Guerrero as the timekeeper. And so right now, Eileen is going to put us into our breakout rooms. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into these breakout rooms, and you'll have 15 minutes per room. And what we're going to try to do is rotate the candidates to each of the 4 breakout rooms so that all of our members in these breakout rooms have a chance to hear from all of the candidates. And while we are doing the magic, when we come back, we have to, because technology is, it's not just like beam me up, Scotty, when we were, if those of you who remember Star Trek, but we're going to have to come back into the main room in order to switch the candidates into breakout rooms 2, 3, and 4. So while we're doing that, we're going to let our members raise their hand and give comments to how they, how they think things are going, or one of the issues that they think that is most important for the senators to address. And we can actually, Eileen, are we ready to do the breakouts? Or she's got 1 second. So I'm going to ask members, if you want to, go ahead and raise your hand and unmute yourself. And if you want to say something about one of the issues that you think is the most important, please do so right now. Somebody raised their hand. Well, as I mentioned, of course, everybody's thinking about the pandemic. And, I really want to give a shout out to some of the businesses out there who have been innovative. Michelle Chrysostomo is one of our board members. And Michelle, you have Guam Sustainable Cultures. And why don't you just really quickly, while Eileen is working in this breakout, tell us about some of your innovative things that Guam Sustainable Cultures is doing.
Hi, thanks, Jane. So what we've done is kind of new to our organization. We used to concentrate on our educational workshops. And since we have not been able to do that, we've really shifted our organization's mission on helping the local farmers. So I don't know if you've seen our Thursday produce at the Sagan Culture Cultural Center. Yeah, so we've been purchasing produce from, purchasing produce from the local farmers, and in turn selling the produce and donating it to organizations that have families in need.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And senators, that's something to take into consideration when you are whoever is in the 36th legislature about supporting local farmers and supporting local produce, because we import right now about 95% of what we consume on this island. And we have the capability to produce local, to have local produce and have it put into our schools and have it people grow their own or put into local stores. So I really think that is an important thing to consider. I also want to give a shout out to Jen McFerrin's California Pizza Kitchen, Pica's Cafe, let me think, Beach and Shrimp, and Payless Markets, because as you all know, if you have gotten the flyer, you can get some of the food that is available at California Pizza Kitchen, Pica's, and Beach and Shrimp now at Payless Markets, so you don't have to go to Tumon or you don't have to travel. And I think that that is a perfect example of the innovative way that we are working to adapt in this environment. So if anybody has any other business ventures that they are, or adaptions that they want to share of, between our members, the senators, and somebody was playing, what is that?
Oh.
Guns N' Roses.
Oh,
Guns N' Roses, thanks. Yeah, Guns N' Roses, yeah. Little bit, we're good? Ready to go? Okay, we are going to head into the breakout room, senators. Thank you, members, thank you, and have a healthy discussion. Here we go.
Very similar question in the last breakout room as well. So I appreciate it, a different audience here now. And I think we can better support our women to have access to childcare and to make sure they know what their rights are to leave and what's available, especially now in the face of COVID-19. There are federal laws that are providing more leave relief to our women. And I've spent a lot of time over the last couple of months kind of connecting women, asking these questions, what is available to them, and letting them know what the information that's needed. And I've worked with Jane at the Bureau of Women's Affairs over this last term to see what kind of legislation we can provide from the Committee on the Advancement of Women to close the pay gap, to ensure that women are treated fairly and equitably in the workforce. And I believe she's bringing that to the Women's Chamber to gather more information for us to provide that legislation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Speaker Tina Munia-Barnes.
I wish it was easy to say that I share the same sentiments as Senator Shelton, which I do, but I really want to say that it takes an effort of enough amalik, and enough amalik meaning to do good, to make good. It's about coming together, bringing the awareness out on what we do as mothers, how we find the balance. It's about providing for the general welfare and care for our children and our families, but more importantly, it's bringing that education out so that we as mothers, as women, can be able to have some reprieve to be able to take care of ourselves. So like I said, as I share those same sentiments, I think it's important that we take that Ina Famalik spirit and work together and empower our women to come out and truly work together in the spirit of what we were blessed of having here on our island. And education is key and awareness is key. I'm sorry.
No, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Just watch Jen. She'll do her thing. Yeah. Thank you.
I didn't see the hat go up yet. So yeah, so it's about coming together and bringing that and literally looking at what could be provided and what's there in legislation today. And parity is very important. Parity pay,
Thank you.
making sure the insurance is there. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Mr. Frank Leon Guerrero.
I just want to make sure that I understand the question, because I think we started into talking about options for women regarding childbirth or something, and we're now talking into opportunities for the women to be at the workforce. One of the things that I guess on the federal side is we have moved, or in the Marshal Service, we had moved to doing a lot of work at home. So maybe that's an option that we can explore, and the government through just being at home, taking care of the family at the moment, and working from home, and it's something that perhaps the government could study, getting into that. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm the only guy here.
Senator Sabina? Oh, sorry.
How come I'm the only guy here?
No, there's Dave Duenas.
No, he's not.
And you mean in this group right here?
Yeah. I see his picture, but okay.
Yes, thank you, Holly. I think it's coming from a culture, a Chamorro culture. We work in extended families where we pick up where there's any gaps, right? And so now we're dealing with a change in our demographics where maybe families are not so much as big as it was in the past. So the government has to figure out policies. And one way to do that is really find out what are the barriers to having health daycare. Is it an issue with the businesses not allowing flexibility? And if so, then how can government provide the right policies to do that? Is it how we develop our communities? So one thing that I'm interested in creating is a mixed-use development zone where you can live and work in the same area and perhaps develop cooperatives within that. So you have this, you mimic the same extended family situation that we have in the past. So I don't know, that was time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, she had her hand up. Thank you. Thank you. And our next question then is to look at tax breaks, right? So tax breaks are great to stimulate business. However, what is your proposal for the government to be able to generate revenue so it can still provide services such as public education, health services, and public safety in light of tax breaks that may be given to businesses suffering because of this pandemic? And I'm just going to go in reverse this time. So Senator Sabina Perez. Oh, you're on mute still.
Yeah, so one of the things I'm interested in doing is, creating new industries such as the healthcare industry and in regards to QCs. And with that, I think that we can, bring in the much, we can do many things at one time. We can support our healthcare needs. We can build up our businesses and, and also provide employment for our community. So that's one thing. As far as revenue streams, that's one of the things I've been prioritizing in my term is closing the loopholes with the current taxes that we have. So like tobacco tax, use tax, these other taxes that haven't been really enforced. So that's another potential to bring in a lot of revenue stream. So previously there was like 15 million for tobacco tax alone. So that can definitely be used for, our business community to support them at this time of need.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Frank Leon Guerrero.
Yes, with the government, one of the questions is, do I support with the tax rollback? We need to work together to tighten up the government. Because we're pushing in, we're paying a lot of money towards the government, but give it back to the people so that they can, everyone needs the businesses, the private businesses, the residents and stuff like that. We need every single penny that we can hold on into. So it's supporting that tax rollback for now, and perhaps I'd like to study that some more. And but yes, thank you.
Thank you. Our Speaker, Tina Mooney Barnes.
Thank you. During this Democratic majority, we've been able to reduce the BBT from 0 to 3%. And if given that opportunity again, I will continue to look for new industries to diversify our economy. We'll promote government efficiencies through using technology and deregulations of outdated policy. I want to provide support for startup programs for both the small business and the big businesses to help them not furlough, to help them flourish, and I want to take advantage of our strategic location. We are the biggest in this big blue continent in our region, and I want to be able to work with the global shipping and e-commerce to bring and to use Guam as a hub. So I think those are really, really key important parts, and I want to be able to support those efforts. But the Democratic Party has already done, the majority has already helped small businesses from bringing it down from 5% to 0 to 3%.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Senator Amanda Shelton.
Thank you. I think the key here is diversification of the economy so that we can make more resilient industries in the face of any crisis, whether it's COVID or another typhoon that comes along. And the time is ripe for these industries like renewable energy. Since we passed Public Law 35-46 for 100% renewable energy by 2045, we have the chance here to create cleaner energy while stimulating the economy. I also authored the bill to update the University of Guam's charter to allow for public-private partnerships so we can invest in industries like agriculture and aquaculture with the University of Guam's hatchery. And I also authored legislation in this term to expand telemedicine so that we can develop the healthcare industry across the island.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So our next question, this was actually one Saniata put on the post, and I thought this was a really good question, was have you downloaded the Guam COVID alert app? If not, why not? And if so, why? Let's go ahead and start with Mr. Frank Leon Guerrero.
No, I haven't. And I guess it's something I've been learning in law enforcement, especially in the federal government and stuff like that. Don't believe everything that they tell you about not being traced. If I can tell you right now, they can turn this thing on with the camera, with the sound, and track you. So COVID, I stay home.
Okay.
In other words, so be careful. Be careful what you download.
Okay, thank you. Senator Sabina Perez?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right, thank you. Senator Amanda Shelton?
Yes, I downloaded it the minute they asked. I've shared it with all my contacts, all my groups, and I encouraged all my friends and family to do the same. I did it because I want to be part of the fight to stop the spread of COVID so that businesses can reopen, so that we can reopen the island and get back to some kind of normal.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to mute myself as there was an alarm going off outside. Speaker Tina Mooney Barnes?
Yes, I have. I just want to share with you that having been tested 6 times when this COVID alert app came on, I said definitely. I convinced my husband, my children, we have to take care of my mom who's 86 years old. That bubble was compromised. And I want to share with you this Avid app. This COVID app was literally an eye opener for us, and we supported 100%, knowing that we had our bubble compromised, and we have to make sure that we take care of our mothers. So yeah, I supported 100%.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have another question here is, our economy is supported by 2 pillars, tourism and the military. Our tourism industry is at a standstill with recovery projected to take 2 years. The only viable economic activity is the military, or that's deemed to be so right now at this time. Given this, do you support resuming the military activity to stimulate economic activity? Let's go ahead and start with Senator Amanda Shelton.
Don't forget Dave Duenas.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't see you on.
You missed me on 2 questions already.
I didn't know you were on the call. I'm so sorry. We have to have everyone on video here.
That's okay. You know I'm on here now.
Yes. Okay. Did you want to go ahead and take that one first? Sorry about that. We were supposed to have everyone on video.
Go ahead. Let the next. I'll come in later.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry, Holly, I got distracted there. Could you repeat the question?
Sure, no problem. Well, we're looking at our economy is supported by 2 pillars, tourism and military. Our tourism industry is at a standstill with recovery projected to take 2 years. The only viable economic activity deemed at this time is the military. Given this, do you support resuming the military activity to stimulate economic activity?
800 billion, is it 300?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of your question.
Oh, sorry. Speaker Tina Munoz Barnes, we're getting a little feedback. Sorry about that. Do you support, given this, do you support resuming the military activity to stimulate economic activity? Looking at tourism, military being 2 pillars of our economy.
Sure, I support the military development that is responsible and done right for Guam. And I think that means having a better seat at the table and ensuring that the voices of the people of Guam are heard. I think a lot of people are really disappointed and are losing hope in the way that the military is responding to the calls from our island leaders, from our governor, from our legislature, to bring us along with them and ensure that what we want for our island is what they're also doing. So I support a responsible development from the military.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Dave Duenas, and I apologize again as you're not on screen, so I didn't know you were here. But now that I do know, would you also like to respond to that question?
Sure. I definitely support the military. They're part of our major part of our economy for sure. I just believe we need to have more dialogue as often as we can from the very top, from our governor down to the legislature. There's a lot of issues. Of course, there's pros and cons about the military being on Guam, but they've been on Guam for decades, and they're going to continue to be here. So we just need to work with them and dialogue as often as possible. But I definitely support them. They are a big part of the economy. And unfortunately, as you mentioned, I was waiting to answer the other two questions, but I didn't get a chance.
If you would like to, you have about 48 seconds if you'd like to lend any from comments for the other questions that I have posed.
The other question, one of them about the workforce, the women in the workforce and the need. Of course, the women do have to, we do need childcare. Childcare needs to either be supplemented either by the government or some type of a program to allow the women and or the men, because nowadays it's both of them, that it's a two-person individuals have to work, both husband and wife. So, but again, this is the women's chamber, so we'll predominantly keep it to that subject. They need to be able to afford childcare, and so it's very costly, as you know, or if people don't know.
There we are. And we're back. We're all back in the main room, correct? We are? Okay, I am going to start, and when I call your name out, candidates, please unmute yourself, and we'll give you 30 seconds for closing remarks. And we will start with the non-incumbents. Let's start with Mr. Chris Carrillo. Chris, can you unmute yourself? Hello? Is he in there? Okay. Okay. Okay, Chris, you're first up for closing remarks. 30 seconds. So go ahead.
Okay.
And are you there? Are you unmuted?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My dog was barking.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. And
Good morning. And once again, I'd like to thank the Women's Chamber for this opportunity. As you can tell, we're going through a global pandemic. It's uncertain. Everything is uncertain. One thing is certain. Guam is a resilient society. If we collectively can get together, stop with the name calling. There's lots of candidates out there talking about how horrible everything is going, and they don't really have plans. The truth is there are some people out there who have plans. I have a plan to improve healthcare. I have a plan to make sure that we can provide affordable healthcare.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Let's go with the next non-incumbent will be Leon Guerrero. Mr. Ken?
I thank you very much for having me on this forum. As you know, I've spent 12 years as a community advocate, but my advocacy was limited to the public hearing rooms. And as a senator, I can move my serving the people of Guam from a seat in the public hearing room to the floor of the session hall, where I will continue to represent the people of Guam, standing up for issues that will make our lives better.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, former Senator Chris Duenas.
I want to thank the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce. This has truly been an honor to be before all of you today. You know, as a gubernatorial candidate said in the last election, we may agree on things and disagree on things. I'm not a single issue candidate. I'm somebody who simply wants to serve the people of Guam. I've shared my ideas through this forum. I hope if you've agreed and disagreed with some things, one thing you'll take away is I've served 16 years in the private industry, 16 years in the government. I love this island and I want to serve. Please consider giving me one of your precious votes.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris. Dominic Hernandez?
Thank you, ma'am. And I want to go ahead and thank all the members today for this forum, and thank you for the opportunity as well. I'm Dominic Hernandez, and I'm a common person standing up for the common good of all. That is the main reason why I ran. Being a common person, I'm able to understand how a common person would feel, especially during the pandemic, and to hopefully be able to get in there, help them, assist businesses get back on their feet, and be able to push forward for everybody for the better interest of all.
Okay, thanks so much, Dominic. Frank Blas Jr., Mr. Former Senator, go ahead.
Well, thank you to the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce for this forum. I truly appreciate it. We've got a lot of rebuilding to do, and we need to hit the ground running. With the experience that I've had in both the executive and the legislative branch, and now as a business owner, I can take that experience so that we can ensure that we can continue to run and we can rebuild our economy and bring back the pride of our island. My name is Frank Blas Jr. Please, I'm just asking you for one of your votes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, former Senator Frank Blas Jr. Dave Duenas, go ahead.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Women's Chamber of Commerce, for having us on today on this Zoom conference. Fantastic stuff. I really loved it. I want to end it real quick with a famous quote from one of our great presidents, John F. Kennedy. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let's not seek to fix the blame for the past, but let's accept our own responsibility for the future. John F. Kennedy. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Dave Duenas. Fred Bordallo.
Thank you, Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce. And I'd just like to say that in the next 2 years for the 36th Guam Legislature, courage and compassion is going to be needed by the Guam Legislature to prioritize the implementation of economic and prioritize the initiatives to get us back on our feet. And I have over 40 years of career choice in public service as a public servant for the people of Guam. I humbly ask for your vote. I'm number 11, a Democrat. Thank you.
Thanks so much, former Chief. Frank Leon Guerrero, go ahead.
Thank you to the Women's Chamber of Commerce. Again, I want to echo something that like former Chief Bernardo said. We're public service people. I've put in nearly 50 years of both the private, the local government, the federal government, work with the congressman's office. I've got a diverse background of experience, and I just want to help the people of Guam. I'm ready for you to help out in any way that we can. So,
okay,
again,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And Vince Borja.
Yes, hi, good morning. Thank you again to the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. Thank you for the panelists and everybody. As a small business owner, as an educator, as a veteran, I hear and I know the struggles that we as a community are going through, and I want to be that voice. And I thank you again for the opportunity, and I look forward to learning more and connecting with everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Vince. And now we'll start with our incumbents. Senator Jim Moylan, go ahead.
Thank you, Guam Women's Chamber. And I support the more women in private business. And if there's any legislation you want me to review, I'll be happy to do that and promote that as well. And I will be continually fighting to lower the BBT and make this a business-friendly environment so we can bring more entrepreneurs to our island and employ more of our people. Hopefully you get me back into the 36 so I can continue the fight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Perez, Senator Sabina Perez, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you to the Women's Chamber for hosting this panel. I think this election is very critical, and I humbly ask that you continue to put your confidence in me. I'm a woman of my word. I've worked hard to advance my platform of sustainability, especially during this COVID time. I think this is really, really important. But I think what's also important that, I've shown through my record that I'm willing to stand up for the public interest. And, I will continue to do the hard work, and I humbly ask for your support. I'm number 14 on the Democratic ticket to do as Masi.
Thank you so much, Senator. Senator Amanda Shelton.
Fiducious Masi to the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce. It's been my honor to serve the people of Guam in the 35th Guam Legislature, and I humbly ask for your vote to continue helping our people by advocating for our manumku, providing opportunities for our youth, preserving our environment, promoting health and safety for our entire community, while now responding to the changing landscape to guide Guam back on the road to economic recovery. With your support, I will continue to embrace our island values to build a better future for Guam. Fiducious Masi.
Hello.
Thanks so much.
Hello.
Senator Amanda.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi, Don. Yes.
I'm not.
Yes. We'll add
I'm
you.
not-
You did not tell us you were going to be here. So, but I will go ahead and give you 30 seconds if you would like. So.
Actually, I called up and I spoke to. I'm not sure it was Miss Rustic or. Well, I spoke to someone. And anyway, I know this is the Women's Chamber of Commerce. I had the impression we're going to be talking a lot about economic issues, which I responded to. However, you did bring something up, which I think, and I also thank you for including me at this forum, the Women's Chamber of Commerce. As a man, I thank you for letting me have a chance to have a voice to chime in on you brought the issue of women's reproductive health, and I also want to be a voice for women who have opposing points of view, and so there is the pro-choice side and there's the pro-life side, and I happen to be pro-life, and however I don't have this stance where I'm not judging the woman whatever her choice is, and then after the fact I want to be supportive of the same individual woman. For example, Priests for Life have commented.
Well, thank you very much. I gave you a minute because I forgot to introduce you at the very beginning, and I apologize.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Senator Clint Rigel.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce. I think this has been an excellent display of how you can adapt in these times. I think this was a great forum moving us into these digital rooms. It shows that adaptability is the key to survival. And you see that in nature. Species that can adapt are the species that survive. And in fact, they're the species that thrive in the long run. So that's what I will commit to. If you vote for me as senator, I will work with everyone to help us adapt in these times so that we can survive and thrive into the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Senator. Senator Tello Taitagui, please go ahead. Hello?
Masi, thank you. To all the members of the Guam Women's Chamber, I want to thank you for all your work first, to recognize that and the opportunity that you provided for us today. And may I say this was done very smooth. It was a great job today, what you did. And I just want to say that I will continue to do my very best and provide transparency and accountability and introduce legislation addressing critical needs while growing our economy. So I humbly ask for your vote of confidence. Sidus Masi, and be safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tello. Senator Mary Torres.
Sidus Masi for this wonderful conversation. I truly enjoyed it. It was a pleasure. I've worked for the past 3 terms on rebuilding families, restoring the dignity in our leadership, and removing barriers to opportunities. And a lot of my legislation has been very practical, but profound in what it does to affect each and every one of us in the community. I humbly ask for your support for that continued good and honest effort to do good for the people of Guam.
Okay, thanks so much, Senator Mary. And finally, last but certainly not least, Speaker Tina Munya Barnes. Go ahead, speaker.
To the Guam Women's Chamber for giving us this awesome opportunity. It is in my heart to continue to serve. I continue to embrace the Inna Famalik spirit. I humbly ask each and every one of you to give me your powerful gift of vote. I'm number 5 on the Democrat side. I give you my heart and a lot of hard work. And si Jules Maasi and si Jules Nubini DC Hamza Todas. God bless and be safe.
Okay, thank you so much. Candidates, thank you so much. Do we have time?
If I could just point out that
I'm sorry.
still here.
Did I miss you?
One more,
I
one
did.
more.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, goodness.
No
Okay.
problem at all.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
It
I'll give
has
you
very
some
much
extras.
been my honor to serve as a senator this term. This pandemic has made it absolutely clear that our economy has to be the top priority. It is an opportunity to rebuild and revision our economy based on sustainable principles that will serve us better in the long run. And I believe that we have the skills and the local talent to do that. I have written laws that save lives and livelihoods. I've held the government accountable. I have worked to help our struggling community. I have fought to protect our environment and our community resources. I humbly ask that you allow me to take all the lessons I have learned this term and apply them next term. So I'm Senator Kelly Marsh Titano. Thank you everybody for all of your hard work in this, and I am never finished.
Thank you so much. I gave you a few extra seconds because I forgot you, and I so apologize for that. I just really want to, Eileen is going to throw up a voter information slide for our members and the Guam Election Commission. Here's some voter information for you right now. The Guam Election Commission is taking appointments for office absentee votings, 477-9791 to schedule an appointment. They will sanitize each of their places of voting after every candidate, after every voter comes in. So please, that's why they want you to call for the appointment. In office absentee voting hours right now at the GCIC building are now through October 30th, Monday to Friday, 10 to 6, 9 to 10 is the Manamco hour. And they will also, and they will not turn voters away, and they also have absentee voting at satellite locations for the next 3 Saturdays, October 3rd, 10th, and 17th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Maritza Martyrs Elementary School, GW High School in Manilao, DL Perez in Jico, and Ukadu High School in Dededo. Voters, regardless of voting district, can vote at any of the satellite locations. It'll be a first come, first served basis. If you're not registered to vote, you can register and vote on site. The schedule is subject to change according to GEC. Voters are reminded to wear a mask, bring a photo ID, and you're encouraged to bring a blue or a black ink pen. For more information, you can visit their website. It's on the screen, gec.guam.gov, or once again, the number is 477-9791. I'm going to throw it back to Holly Rustick right now, our president, for her closing remarks. And if we can show that RBG video, that would be so cool. And thank you all for a wonderful forum. Thanks, candidates. Thanks, members, for being here.
Thank you so much, Jane Flores. We really enjoyed this put together thing that you had with it. Like I said, you've been planning this all year, and we've really been doing our best so we can get the information out to our members, and so you have an opportunity to connect with the candidates. All right, so as I just close out, I just want to thank all of our sponsors, especially for our WBC Center founder, Addis Trust. We also have our change agents, Bank of Guam, GMI, Matson, Pacific Daily News, Tri-Vision Media Group. So we also have, and we have we have Visionary, our trendsetters, our influencers, and our ambassadors. As you can see, we do have an array of sponsors that we have, and